And there I was, thinking this was a sequel to The Northman. Hello everyone and welcome back to IMO Reviews. Today we are discussing Barbarian, directed by Zach Cregger and starring Bill Skarsgard, Georgina Campbell and Justin Long. Tess arrives at the Airbnb that she had booked herself to stay in, only to find it's already been rented out to someone else. And the night only gets stranger from there. But before we go any further, could you please be a dear? Hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It really does make all the difference to this channel, and we thank you if you do. Let's get into what I liked about Barbarian. The sound design of this movie is outstanding. It's really creepy and atmospheric from start to finish. They also do a great job of not playing music, actually just letting the silence fill you with dread. It's got outstanding cinematography as well. It's nothing pretentious or artsy, but it's really competent and really impressive. They do a fantastic job with lighting in this movie, which could not have been easy to work around. But there's also really impressive shots as well. One in particularly, which I'm going to try and be vague so it doesn't spoil anything, but it's simply a POV shot where it's following someone to their car, and as the driver gets in the car, the camera somehow goes through the back window of the car without opening the door or opening the window, and suddenly it's in the back seat, still behind the head of the character that you're following. And I genuinely sat in the cinema like, what, how the fuck did you do that? That was incredible. It impressed me that much that I would genuinely watch this movie again just to watch that shot and how it worked. It absolutely baffled me and yet inspired me at the same time. Genius filmmaking. There's a real sense of discomfort in this movie from start to finish, and I think the director does such a good job of having his audience relax just enough so that he can pull the rug out from under your feet again and again and again. Not only was I constantly on my toes, but I was intrigued. I wanted to know what was going on here. What is the end result of this? Every revelation that they offer just poses more questions, and sometimes you do not want the answer to those questions. It's really cleverly crafted to just allow the audience's imagination to run away with itself and imagine the worst possible outcome that they themselves would find terrifying. It's really cleverly done. I also thought the performances were absolutely outstanding from everybody. They all felt like relatively fresh roles for these characters. I can't say I've ever seen Bill Skarsgard play a character like this before, but the absolute clear standout for me has to be Georgina Campbell. God damn, that girl blew my socks off with this performance. Of course, some of this credit deserves to go to the writing, but I liked her character a lot. She makes decisions that make sense, that I myself can imagine making that decision if I found myself in this scenario. I really appreciated that. There are so many horror movies that just don't bother with it, but you really should, because it just brings your characters to life and makes them more believable. And speaking of the writing, I thought it was written fantastically, particularly in the dialogue. It felt so natural. It never felt like actors reading lines off a page. It felt like these characters really exist and this is the conversation they're having and this is the natural back and forth that they would have. In fact, I was so impressed with the writing, I would quite like to get my hands on the script of this and just flick through it and just see how it's written, how quick and sharp this dialogue is, because I imagine it really would be like line read, line read, line read, line read, with no fat in between, because that's how it felt. Is the movie scary though? I mean, it really does depend where your bar is. I think this is scarier than a lot of crap that gets put out. But I would lean personally, as a horror fan who has seen it all, frankly, I would lean towards saying this is intense, more so than I would say it's scary. I wasn't quivering in my seat and biting my nails, but I could feel my heartbeat going through a lot of the intense scenes here. The suspense was excellent, the story kept me intrigued and always had me guessing, but I do have a few problems, and I mean just a few. I wouldn't say it relies on jump scares because there's only about 3 jump scares in here maximum, but nonetheless they are jump scares and they're annoying and a little bit lazy as well. And also, strange complaint, but this movie has one of the strangest cut-tos I think I've ever seen in a movie. I actually laughed. I think the film is aware it's a little bit funny because it kind of plays up to that humorous fact. But it is a strange choice, and it almost feels like one movie ends and a brand new one just starts out of nowhere. I don't know if it worked. It kind of worked, but I do think it could have been smoother. Now, I watched this movie late yesterday, and I didn't give it a score immediately upon walking out. I was giving it very high praise. I was really excited by what I'd seen. I want to see it again. I immediately want to pick it up on Blu-ray, but I didn't want my excitement to get the better of my judgment, and I wanted to sit on it. I wanted to sleep on it and really think about where am I going to put this film in my ranking. And after a solid night's thought about it, I'm going to give Barbarian a 10 out of 10. Yep, I'm doing it. I've thought about it, and yeah, I don't think the film's perfect. I do think it has some problems, but they're such small problems that it didn't compromise the greater viewing experience for me. I can totally work with the issues that I found. And ultimately, my high praise still remains. I still feel really positive about this movie. I will even go as far as saying that this is the best horror movie of 2022. So far, we're yet to get to Halloween, and I'm sure there's going to be a ton of horror movies thrown out at that time of year, but right now, yeah, this is the best horror movie I've seen in 2022, hands down. It probably is an 8 or a 9, but like I say, I really appreciated what this was doing, that I can look past those cons and just give it the 10 that I personally think it deserves. Thank you for watching this review. Please be sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and please do hit the comment section. Have you seen Barbarian? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.